A main motion is defined by Robert's rules as one that brings business before the Assembly. To make a main motion, you must first obtain the floor. The correct way to do this is to stand and address the presiding officer, Mr. Chairman or Madam Chairman, or Mr. President or Madam President. The presiding officer will either say your name or nod at you. This means that you are being assigned the floor. You now have permission to speak, and no one else has the right to speak as long as you have the floor. The correct way to state a motion is, I move that. Memorize and practice this phrase, I move that, and add your motion. For example,
Madam President, I move that we have a car wash Saturday, January 20th in order to raise money for the dance fund.
After you state your motion, sit down. It must be seconded by another member. A second does not mean that a person is in favor of your idea. It only means that the member thinks your motion should be discussed. The person who seconds the motion does not need to rise and address the presiding officer, but can call out second from where the member is sitting. The member can say second or I second the motion. If your motion does not get a second, it cannot be discussed, and the presiding officer goes on to the next business in order. If no one seconds it, the presiding officer can ask,
Is there a second?
If it is seconded, the presiding officer will say, It is moved and seconded that. Is there any discussion?
It is moved and seconded that we have a car wash on January 20th to raise money for the dance fund. Is there any discussion?